Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a powerful reading from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 6 verses 14 through 29. It's the story of John the Baptist's martyrdom. King Herod, despite being intrigued by John's words, ultimately has him executed to please his wife Herodias and fulfill a rash promise. What strikes me most about this passage is John's incredible courage. He stood firm in his convictions, speaking truth to power, knowing the immense risk. He never wavered, even when it led to his imprisonment and death. John's life was a testament to unwavering faith and the courage to live by one's principles, no matter the cost. This theme of courage in the face of overwhelming odds reminds me of a true story I want to share with you today. It's a story that has stayed with me for a very long time, a story of a young boy named Leo. His life, in many ways, reflects that same kind of incredible resilience and the quiet, profound strength that comes from a faith you can't see but can only feel. Leo was born into a world that, from the very beginning, seemed to have no place for him. He never knew his parents. His first memories weren't of a warm home or loving embraces, but of the sterile, impersonal walls of an orphanage. He was just one of many children, a small face in a sea of forgotten stories. While other kids clung to faded photographs or worn-out toys from a life before, Leo had nothing. No heirlooms, no last names to trace, no stories of a family waiting for him somewhere. He was, in the truest sense of the word, alone. The orphanage was a world of routines. Wake up, eat, learn, play, sleep, repeat. It was structured, but it was hollow. The caretakers were kind but overworked, stretched thin between dozens of children, each with their own invisible wounds. Leo was a quiet boy, often found sitting by himself in a corner of the playground, watching the other children. He'd watch them laugh, fight, and make up, a silent observer of a world he wasn't quite a part of. He learned early on not to expect much. Birthdays came and went, often marked by a shared cake for all the kids born that month, but never a celebration that was just his. One of the most painful days at the orphanage was visiting day. Once a month, hopeful couples would come, walking through the halls, looking for a child to bring into their family. For most kids, it was a day of nervous excitement, a chance to be chosen. For Leo, it was a day of dread. He saw other children put on their best clothes and brightest smiles, their eyes shining with hope. He'd try. At first, he'd stand a little taller, try to make eye contact, offer a shy smile. But couple after couple walked past him. Maybe he was too quiet, too plain, not bubbly enough. After years of being overlooked, the hope began to curdle into a quiet resignation. He started hiding on visiting days, finding a secluded spot in the library or pretending to be sick. It was easier to be invisible than to face the sting of rejection one more time. One evening, an older caretaker named Mrs. Gable found him huddled in the laundry room, crying silently into his knees. He was about 7 years old. She didn't say much. She just sat down on the cold floor beside him, her presence a silent comfort. After a while, she gently placed a small, smooth stone in his hand. It was a simple, gray river stone. She told him, "Leo, whenever you feel lost or alone, hold this stone. Remember that even the smallest stone is part of a great mountain, and even the loneliest star is part of a vast sky. You are part of something bigger, even if you can't see it yet." That stone became Leo's most prized possession. It was his only connection to a moment of genuine, personal kindness. He kept it in his pocket always. When he was scared, he'd rub his thumb over its smooth surface. When he was sad, he'd hold it tight in his fist. It was a tangible piece of hope, a reminder that someone, at least once, saw him. As Leo grew into his teenage years, life became even harder. He was too old for most adoptive families, who were usually looking for younger children. The world outside the orphanage loomed large and terrifying. He'd hear stories from the older kids who had aged out of the system, stories of struggle, of homelessness, of falling into the wrong crowds. Fear became his constant companion. The future wasn't a bright horizon of possibilities, it was a dark, unknown void. He started to feel a deep anger, a bitterness towards a world that had dealt him such a cruel hand. Why him? What had he done to deserve a life with no family, no love, no one to call his own? He reluctantly pulled it from his pocket. It was worn and shiny from years of handling. She looked at him with her kind, knowing eyes and said, "Leo, your courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about being terrified and still choosing to take the next step. Your faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about holding on to a little bit of hope, as small as that stone, when all you see is darkness." Her words were like a key turning a rusty lock in his heart. For the first time, he didn't see his life as a punishment, but as a challenge. He poured himself into his studies. He learned to code from old books in the library. He started helping the younger children, showing them the kindness that Mrs. Gable had shown him. He became a big brother to the boys who, like him, felt invisible. He taught them that their worth wasn't determined by who chose them, but by the choices they made. When Leo turned 18, the day he had dreaded for so long finally arrived. He had to leave the orphanage, but instead of walking into a void, he walked out with a plan. He had saved every penny he could from odd jobs and had secured a scholarship to a local community college. It was terrifying. He lived in a tiny, run-down apartment, working nights to support himself while studying during the day. There were many times he felt that old despair creeping back in, times when he ate instant noodles for a week straight and wondered if he would make it. In those moments, he would take out his stone. He'd hold it and remember Mrs. Gable's words. He'd remember the courage of John the Baptist. His foundation provides housing, scholarships, mentorship, and most importantly, a sense of community of family for those who have none. Today, Leo is a father figure to hundreds of young men and women. The boy who had no family has created one of the biggest, most loving families you could ever imagine. He often visits orphanages, and when he sees a quiet, lonely child in the corner, he walks over, sits down, and shares his story. And sometimes, he places a small, smooth stone in their hand, a symbol of hope passed from one generation of survivors to the next. He reminds us that even when we feel completely alone, we are part of something so much bigger, and our lives have a purpose we may not yet see. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope Leo's story inspires you as much as it inspires me. If you found this message meaningful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more reflections. We'll see you next time.